All right, so we're going to do a little bit of whiteboard practice with Unit 8, Lesson 3. We're going to start off with el subjuntivo en el presente, and then we'll do subjuntivo en el pasado, some practice with that. So we're going to start off with doing just some verb conjugations. So I'll give you the verb, and then you can conjugate it, and I'll give you the answer, and then we'll do some sentences. So just a quick reminder on the present in the subjunctive. So remember, you need to meet a couple of conditions. So first off, it has to meet one of the weirdo conditions. And then second, it needs to have a change in subject and a K connector in between. If that is the case, then uh, the subordinate clause will be in the subjunctive. And then to conjugate, remember, you find the yo form, you chop off the o, and then you add on the subjunctive ending, which is more or less just the present charts flipped, give or take some differences. And then there are some irregulars. All right, so número uno, salir, for ella, should have salga. Número dos, ir, for mis amigos, should have vayan. Número tres, ser, for el presidente, should have sea. Número cuatro, dar, for yo, you should have de, with an accent. Número cinco, vivir, for vosotros, you should have viváis. Número seis, querer, for nosotros, you should have queramos. Número siete, for usted, comenzar, should have comience. And número ocho, poder, for the subject ella, you should have pueda. All right, now for some sentence translation. Número uno, I hope that she speaks with me tomorrow. You should have yo espero que ella hable conmigo mañana. So there you have the hope and desires. Change of subject, a K connector in there. So it does meet all the conditions. Número dos, hopefully they prefer salmon. You should have ojalá ellos prefieran el salmón. So there you've got the ojalá and change in subject. You could have had ojalá que. That's allowed. They often will skip it with ojalá, but it is something that if you put a K in there, there's no problem with that. Número tres, they don't doubt that she is going toward the park. So you should have had ellos no dudan que ella va hacia or para el parque. That one is not subjunctive because if you don't doubt something, there's certainty there. So that certainty always trumps any of it. If there's certainty being expressed, then you don't have the subjunctive. Number four, it's impossible that he speaks 12 languages. Should have es imposible que él hable 12 idiomas. And there you have one of the generic sayings, so that's where it gets also a change in subject, K connector. Even though es imposible might sound like it's like a certainty, that is expressing doubt and denial. So that's why it would be subjunctive. And número cinco, Sally thinks she needs to learn a lot. You should have Sally piensa que ella necesita aprender mucho. So this one is not subjunctive. There's a couple reasons. One, if somebody thinks something, that's going to be considered certainty. Same thing as like believing something. So regardless, that's going to make it so it's not subjunctive. And then also, we don't have a change in subject. All right, so el subjuntivo in el pasado, we're going to do it the same way. So this one, just remember, same rules and conditions apply, just how we conjugate is going to be a little bit different. So you're going to use your third person plural, chop off the ron at the end, and then add on the past subjunctive endings. So that's where we get these from. So hablar for yo, you should have hablara. Then número dos, tener. You should for ellos, you should have tuvieran. So you'll see it takes over the irregularities from the from the preterite. Número tres, pedir for nosotros. You should have pidiéramos. So remember that one had an asterisk by the ramos because the vowel that comes right before the ramos needs to have an accent on it. Número cuatro, preferir for ella. You should have prefiriera. Número cinco, estar for our subject yo. You should have estuviera. Número seis, llenar for tú. You should have llenarás. Número siete, for querer for Sally y yo. You should have quisiéramos. And número ocho, ser for los amigos. Should have fueran. All right, so some sentences. He didn't believe I was his cousin. You should have él no creían que yo fuera su primo. So there you have a doubt. So if they believe something, that's going to be certainty. However, not believing something, that's going to be doubt or denial. We do have a change in subject, a K connector. It's not there in the Spanish, in the English, but it needs to be there in the Spanish. We also went with the imperfect. It's a thing of the head and the heart, believing, thinking, and things like that, as well as that's really not something that is bound by a specific time, no specific beginning or end. Número dos, I was angry that you sold the car. You should have yo estaba enojado que tú vendieras el carro. So that we have emotion, change in subject, K connector, all the things there. If you went with feminine enojada, that's also fine. Número tres, Marta wanted me to swim in the pool. This one's going to be a little bit tricky. The wording changes a little bit between English and Spanish. So the most word for word in English would be something like Marta wanted that I swim in the pool. So translate it kind of like that. Should have Marta quería que yo nadara en la piscina. Número cuatro, it was important. Sorry, should be in parentheses there. Importante, not obvio. Lo siento. It was important that he broke his leg. You should have era importante que él se rompiera la pierna. And número cinco, I hoped he cleaned the house yesterday. Yo esperaba que él limpiara la casa ayer. El fin.